In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an HTML page and a CSS page and link them together so that you can style your web page using CSS. I'm also going to show you how to use divs effectively so that you can have blocks of color in your web page. It'll help bring your web page to life a little bit. Okay, so I'm starting with a new file, and the first thing I'm actually going to do is go to my desktop and create a new folder for this project. So when you're working with HTML and CSS files, you have two separate files, and it's important that they're located in the same folder. That is how they find each other and work together. So I'm going to create a new folder right here, and maybe I'll name it, so this project is the bio project, so I'm going to name it lastname.bio maybe. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to Atom, and I'll save my file into that folder. So this first one I'm going to save as, find my folder, click my folder, and I'm going to save it as lastname.firstname.bio.html. Great, okay. So now I'm also going to create my CSS folder. So I'm going to go File, New File. This time I'm going to save as. I'm going to again make sure that it is in that same folder. I'm going to save it as stylesheet.css. It's really important that this is spelled correctly. Part of the code that connects these two files is based on finding this specific name of the file. So make sure you have that spelled exactly right. So I'm going to save it again, and I'm just going to go back and double check my folder to make sure they're both there. They are. Great. Okay. Okay, so now I'm ready to get started, and I will start by just laying out my basic web page. It's always a good place to start. Oh, my bad, I'm doing it in the style sheet. Let me redo that. Go to HTML. Okay, I have my basic web page laid out. Now I'm going to insert the link to style sheet into my HTML page. So right now these two files are kind of existing independently. They are not communicating with each other. So we have to put a link into our HTML file so that it knows to go and check what's on the style sheet. So I already have it in a Word doc right here, and I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it in above the title. Okay, so at this point you should probably pause the video, put this in for yourself, and then come back. Okay, so now the two things are connected. That is good. Now I will show you how to create a div and kind of talk about what a div does. So in the body, I'm going to put in my div tags, just like that, really simple. And now I'm going to go over to my style sheet and I'm going to start styling my div. And I'm just going to mess around with it. So for now, I'll give it a height of 200 pixels, and I'll give it a width of maybe 1,000 pixels. And it's also important that I give it a background color. And let's just do blue. Okay, so I've got my height, my width, my background color. I've styled my div. I'm going to save this, save my style sheet. I'm also going to save my HTML page, and now I'm going to pull it up and see what it looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like so far. So this isn't all that exciting. It's just a big block of color, but you can do some really interesting things with your divs. For instance, maybe I'll put a paragraph in my div, and I'll write. And now if I go File, Save, I go back here, I refresh, there's words in my div. And we can make these words bigger, so maybe I'll do style equals font dash size and then when I go back, it gets bigger. So this is one way you can kind of add some extra things to your web page. So let me pull up, excuse me, let me pull up my example of the biopic so you can kind of see how I was using divs. So I'm going to minimize these. So you can see in my web page that I started building, I have a div right here, and it kind of just blocks out some color in my page. Okay, so that's it. That is how you start connecting your HTML page and your CSS page. And that is also how we use divs in our web page. So use this to complete the criteria on the rubric.